How you doing, guys? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 ways you can survive a recession. Despite the Santa Claus rally in the stock market right now, everything's at all-time highs. We all know that one day that recession is going to hit. We want to make sure we're not only going to survive, but actually prosper during the next recession. I've watched a lot of videos with a similar topic on how to get through the next recession, and they talk about the simple things like paying off debt and making sure you have enough savings, but I want to get into ways to not only survive the next recession, but how to actually prosper. Before we get into it, please know that none of this is actually financial advice. This is just my sheer opinions. I do it for entertainment purposes for all of those who enjoy watching. And with that said, let's get into it. The next recession is going to be a very dark place. You're going to get a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and you're going to walk out more callous on the other side. And the best way to survive that recession is to be as wealthy as possible before the recession. And I know that sounds very overly simplistic, just to be wealthy, but the reason I want to say that is because I hear way too many people say, I'm going to wait till the next recession before I invest in this or before I buy a house. There's so many people that are staying so cautiously on the sidelines. They are poor before the recession, and they're gonna be even poorer during the recession. Think about that for a second. If you are not financially successful in a bull market, you're gonna be only worse off during the bear market. So be out there, don't be afraid to take calculated risk. Now, if you're already wealthy, and my definition of wealthy is if you're able to live off of your passive income, or if you're able to live off some kind of 4% withdrawal rate, you might want to take a different strategy. You may want to be more conservative going in, lining up your portfolio in a way that it'll best weather the storm. And I made videos about like the all-weather fund that only dropped 4% during the last Great Recession, 2008. It's a different strategy. But for younger people that don't have an abundance of wealth and are unable to live off of their passive income and that are unable to live off of some kind of 4% withdrawal rate, there's nothing wrong with taking calculated risk. The bigger portfolio you have going into the recession will give you a better opportunity to survive the recession. The second way to survive and prosper during the next recession is to get while the getting's good. It kind of plays off of this first idea that we need to be as wealthy as possible before the recession, so we shouldn't have the fear to invest. But also, while the market is good, this is time to work like hell. I remember during the Great Recession, and some of you watching may be too young to remember, but there was no work for people to do. I know family members that went years without work. So while we're in a bull market, don't be scared of work. Even if you feel somewhat comfortable with the amount of money you have, this amount of excess work should grow a cash savings account that you need to have on the side, because a lot of people during recessions end up selling their investments at a loss because they don't have anything else to go off of. They put a lot of money into the market and they're now forced to sell it because they need that money to live off of, rather than weathering the storm and going through it. So work as much as possible as you can now and build the portfolio up as big as you can so you can survive and prosper during the next recession. Because right now the market is in spring and summer mode, the weather's shiny, but winter's gonna come and you have to have enough stored away to make it through the winter. The third way to survive and prosper during the next recession is to consider investing into assets that are not correlated with the market. What I mean by that is things like the stock market and housing market is directly correlated with the economy that you work in. Wealth is not typically destroyed, it just gets transferred to different asset classes. So in a bad economy, there are some sectors of the economy that tend to act in the inverse. They actually go up when things like stocks and real estate go down in value. For example, during the Great Recession, we saw things like precious metals, something like silver go from $8 an ounce all the way up to $50 an ounce. And it's been in a bear market ever since because the stock market's been in a bull market. Or something like cryptocurrency is not correlated with the success of the economy. It actually would likely prosper if the economy were to fail and people lost trust in central economic banking. They may actually look to some kind of decentralized currency, and you could see that asset class grow. I also covered on this channel a video about life settlements that has nothing to do with the stock market and doesn't rely on the production of the market to return you equity. So I'll link that video up here as well. And the fourth way to survive and prosper in the next recession, I really think it's important to remove pride. I think a lot of people tie their ego and their self-worth into what they do for a living, their income status, their net worth. A recession is going to mess with you mentally. If you are wealthy now, you need to be able to adjust and adapt. You might have to lower your standard of living. A recession is likely going to lower your income, lower your net worth, and it's going to take a shot at your egos. You may find yourself adapting in drastic ways. So before I jump into the fifth way to survive and prosper during the next recession, let's just recap the first 4, because number 5 will bring it all together. So the first one is to be as wealthy as possible before the next recession. And that really means to not be scared to take risk and try to build your net worth as big as possible before going into the next recession. Number 2 is getting while the getting's good. So while the economy is humming and there's work to be done, do as much as possible as you can, because there literally may not be anything for you to do during the next recession. You may have to change career fields, you may have to reskill yourself. We saw all this happen before. So do everything you can now. The third way is to consider investing to things that are not correlated with the stock market or real estate market. Instead, invest in things that are inverse to the market, like commodities, precious metals, cryptocurrencies, life settlements, just to name a few. And the fourth way to survive and prosper during the next recession is to remove your pride and ego. All right, now let's jump into number 5, and it'll tie this whole thing together. And the 5th way to not only survive the next recession, but prosper during it is to, if you have not already, please make sure you are subscribed to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. In all seriousness, I hope you guys found these tips to be helpful, and if you did enjoy the content, it would mean the world to me if you just hit that red subscribe channel button, give this video a thumbs up, and please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I make sure to reply to every single comment, and I really enjoy your guys' feedback. It allows me to tailor the content that you guys enjoy watching, and it's very good feedback for me on how I can improve this channel. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.